like to, Madam Mayor, I would ask that you would please start with Commissioner Maxwell this evening. In our workshop last week, Mr. Maxwell suggested that he was going to bring a particular subject to the dais. I recognize that it hasn't been added as an agenda item, but since as commissioners we only have one opportunity to speak on non-agenda items, I would appreciate it if we could get this out in the open, and if it doesn't need to be discussed at all, I would prefer not to waste the commission's time discussing it.
Thank you. Vice Mayor,
Yes.
do you have any comments?
Do I have any comments?
Yes.
On what?
On Commissioner comments and liaison reports.
Sure. I recently attended the Great Mockingbird event up at the Scottish Rite Temple, where there were several hundred folks from all over the community celebrating. I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, the cat isn't here.
Great event. There's lots of food and fun. Backpacks were given out with school supplies for the children. It was a great event. Also, I attended the Native Reserve Appreciation Dinner at the golf club, and it's a local organization that honors, if you will, any reservists returning from active duty from around the world. So there were 7 or 8 Navy reservists that were honored on Saturday evening. Attended several neighborhood association meetings, downtown Jewel, Parrot Cove, South Palm Park, all of which are talking trash about the upcoming rat race on the 4th. So, and all of which tried to coerce me into telling me what I knew about the other neighborhoods, and I certainly wouldn't do that. But I think sunshine, no, sunshine. And let's see, also we attended the Flag Day ceremony. I really encourage folks to get out every June and be a part of that. And as Captain Silva alluded to earlier, I met with Captain Silva and Captain Linscoot from the Sheriff's Office, and we discussed at length how the Sheriff's Office might put together a program to work directly through the neighborhood associations with the CLP program and see if we can't harness an interest and heavy participation throughout the city to get a lot of extra cars and eyes and ears on the road with respect to monitoring what's going on in our neighborhoods. And finally, with respect to Mr. Mayor's whatever, I had sent a email, I guess it was the day after our meeting, to the city manager explaining what I attempted to get out the previous evening. So if the city manager wants to elaborate on that, that's fine. Otherwise, it's a matter of public record, and y'all can get that. But basically, you know, my bottom line was that we were not going to air out anybody's dirty laundry at the commission level. However, if there were any issues related to process as far as the code enforcement department was concerned, that needed to be addressed. So we didn't drag code enforcement through the mud. So, and I would ask the city manager, do you want to comment on my email? Do you have anything you want to say?
Just to reiterate, my understanding of reading it, that you were concerned about being sure that the code process remained objective.
That was it? Okay.
I've condensed things down.
All right, well, it's pretty lengthy email, but that's okay.
Okay. All right, thank you, Commissioner McBoyd.
Thank you. Some people contacted me regarding the agenda and indicated their support for the consent agenda item on that we would kind of loosely go on record as supporting potential bans on single-use plastic bags. I was very happy to notice at a Publix, not here in Lake Worth, but a different place, one time when I said, no bag, and she said, and it was a young woman, and she said, that's great, we don't need bags, they wind up in the ocean, and then they wind up in the fish, and then we wonder why we all get sick. And I thought, wow, a young person is aware. As many of you know, we are a coastal city, we do pay attention to the ocean, and there are huge amounts of plastic in the ocean, and they definitely cause problems. Some of it comes from plastic bags, also near shore, plastic bags are an issue for wildlife. So I would certainly support if we ever get to that point and can do something about it. Doing that. My other comment is that I want to thank city staff and I guess indirectly my fellow commissioners. I applied for the Good Government Initiative. It's a program that was put together by Katie Sorensen, who was a Miami-Dade County Commissioner for, 15, 16 years. And when she stepped down, she said, how can I help elected officials do a better job of being representatives of their community? She's now done that program. Runs from August to November. You apply for it, and she has participants from all 3 South Florida counties. And it runs from August to November. Pretty intensive program, all-day events. I just went to the inaugural dinner down at the Little Haiti Cultural Center in North Miami a couple of days ago, and very inspiring talk by one of the deans in the health school at FIU, who talked a little bit about his own experiences as partly Irish, he had a name for it, Cubish, Irish on one side and Cuban on the other, and the experiences he went through in terms of discrimination, and becoming a doctor, and a very committed gentleman, really committed to a very full approach to healthcare, realizing that it's not just the biological source, it's a much bigger context of what makes communities healthy. A very inspiring person, and really inspiring on trying to help us all be better community leaders. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to participate in that.
Commissioner Emerson?
Let's talk about plastic bags. It was my initiative to bring forward. And it's a talking point. It's a jump-off point. If you know, I am a small business owner where it pisses me off when someone wants to buy
Point of order.
paper and put it in a plastic bag. But unfortunately, as a small business owner, I know that they need a bag, they want a bag. Over the years, I've been educating, carry your own bag. One year I did green bags, but they're very costly for a small business owner. So this is a jumping off point to move the city into recycling, into acknowledgement on the next level. I've been meeting with staff for 2 years now, looking to bring our recycling to the next level. I worked with Joe Kroll years ago, prior to being a commissioner, to actually bring recycling to the city of Lake Worth that we actually get paid for. If you remember, years ago, we actually had to pay for our recycling. So meeting with staff, on my wish list is, recycling on Lake and Lucerne, Dixie Highway, starting that as we move forward. But again, there's a cost involved, new cans, new trucks. So we're aggressively trying to work that through. In the next, before season, we're trying to work with some of our partners to bring green bags to at least the downtown merchants that want to participate, to try to wean them off on some of the plastic bags. A lot of the merchants downtown use paper, but as a small business owner, I know a lot of times it's hard to move into some of the more effective uses because they're more costly. So this is a jump off point, this is a talking point, and hopefully we can start moving forward. I too attended a few neighborhood association meetings, South Palm Park, downtown Jewel, where we talked about the impact of sober homes and what is being done, what can be done, what can't be done, and how to address some of those issues moving forward. I also attended, we still have under the NSP2 program and the CRA, home dedications. So I was very enlightened to welcome the White family to Lake Worth. So I did a ribbon cutting for that. Also, we had another neighborhood cleanup in downtown Jewel. I want to thank everyone for coming out and participating with that. Westside Recycling is my note here, and that's part of one of the recycling processes that through this we found that on the west side there needs to be a little bit more education on recycling, because a lot of these people come from different countries where English is not their first language. So we have one of our partners, Solid Waste, is actually stepping up to the plate, and I want to thank Steve O'Neill in Public Works and Jamie Brown for moving this forward. They're actually going to pay for some printed material in multiple languages to be actually put right on the doors on the west side to educate them on the benefits of recycling and what it means to us, because you need to make sure that there's a certain amount of non-recycling going into a recycling, and we've identified on the west side that it's a little bit more than we like. It's still low, but it's a little bit more than we like, so we're working on the west side on that. And then last but not least, 4th of July, we still need a few volunteers for the soda booths. If anybody wants to volunteer, please contact me for day and evening shifts. I know a lot of rafters will be out on the raft. I do not participate in the raft because myself and Emily at the CRA actually put on the event. And we'll be working with staff doing that. So it's my way of getting off the raft. But we still need a few volunteers for that. Also, there are events going on the entire week with the rafts up to the event, and I know there's some representatives here that will talk a little bit more about that, but there's something going on. Please check your emails, please check your Facebooks. There'll be information going out all the week before that. Excuse me. I'm not done yet.
I put the time limit on you.
One last thing, where to retire. Somebody actually gave this to me, and since you pushed it, I forgot I have this. Wellington. Wellington is in the middle of this, and it says where to retire Wellington. But half the article is about where to eat and shop downtown Lake Worth. Which I thought it was about retire to Wellington, but majority of it hang out downtown Lake Worth. So as we move forward, whether you live here or you don't, you're invested in the city of Lake Worth. You may live in Wellington, you might live in unincorporated, but you party, you shop, you patronize the downtown, so we thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Meyer.
Thank you. Attended a meeting last week at the South Grade School for the staff and members of Bridges, a part of the Children's Services Council. The meeting was to vote on how they would spend a certain allotment of money that was to be used for a program that would prevent child abuse and neglect. They invited the commission or any commissioners to come and attend and please weigh in on the vote. It was very exciting to hear the various members stand up. The meeting was conducted primarily in Spanish, so I was fortunate enough to have a translator there for me, but everyone did stand up and speak about what a great benefit the Children's Services Council and the Bridges program is in their neighborhood. They encouraged us as a commission and a city to support their existence here and to support their programs, and I was very happy to take part in that process. And lastly, I also attended one of the neighborhood cleanups in the Jewel neighborhood. That's my neighborhood. It was a very successful event. It seems that we are moving into a season of doing neighborhood cleanups. I would suggest to the other neighborhoods that they speak to Trevor and Katie, who ran this particular cleanup, because it was done in a very organized and efficient fashion. When we had the one 2 weeks prior in the Tropical Ridge neighborhood, everyone just sort of spread out and went for trash. Trevor and Katie divided the neighborhood into very specific areas, and in a 3-hour period, we were able to walk every street and every alley in the Jewel neighborhood. So it was a great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, I'll try to be quick here. Thank you for the hospitality, Tropical Ridge Neighborhood Association, met there. We've got ethics training tomorrow, mandatory ethics training for us commissioners as well. I know I'm going tomorrow.
I'm going.
Commissioner Meyer, you?
Are we answering that question?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just turning heads up. All right, Gray Mockingbird Garden. Also, I was fortunate to attend there. The kids were great. I tried to convince the vice mayor to get a tattoo, but he didn't. It was a beautiful turnout, and thank you everyone who came. Also there for the Scottish Rite flag ceremony. We really need to get more of you out there. It's such a beautiful, beautiful presentation that the Scottish Rite does every year. It's a very quick, brief presentation, and just really, it was on Flag Day, it was on Sunday. And it just is always so poignant, and it tells such a beautiful story, and some stories of men and women who serve in our country. And it happens again, it's a very quick thing, it's not an elaborate, sappy, big, long, drawn-out thing. It's whatever, but it increased this year. I know I saw more faces than last year, but I sure hope you'll come out next year for it and honor our flag, because it was a beautiful, beautiful event. We have upcoming a Sister Cities meeting of the city of Lake Worth, West Palm Beach, Riviera Beach. We get together and talk about issues that are that affect us all, and also our connecting corridors. You know, things, I've mentioned this before, things like prostitution. Well, it used to be, in the old days, you know, they would do a prostitution sting in the West Palm side, and guess what they do? It all moved down to Lake Worth side. And then we would do one, and we'd shove them down to the Lantana side. You know, it would just be back and forth, the same thing. So we're working together to deal with these issues so that we're not just, you know, temporarily moving the problem, that we're actually permanently doing something about it. And those communities are really wonderful. We're going to be hosting them this time around, and we're going to be hosting them at the Cultural Council building next week. I don't have a date on me. Do you know? Tuesday. Okay. Also, we have coming up to the Mayor's Education Committee. Created this committee, again, when I realized that the city didn't have any formal relationship with the leaders of our schools, taking care of our kids. So we've been working together to find individual facilities, met with the YWCA, met with representatives that are looking for, and they have agreed to finding and funding positions to help us with VPK and programs for middle school. So they have confirmed that, and now we're locating facilities to do that, but to add to these programs within our community. Not that our schools aren't offering these programs, but there's simply not enough room for all of them. And the middle school is where a lot of the kids kind of get tripped up a little bit. They've got a lot of stuff to do in high school, but not in middle school. So you're going to keep hearing this from me, because I think it's really, really important for our kids. And also another item too, I'd like to soon introduce something that's going to be very exciting. You know, my feelings on literacy. I really would like to start a Mayor's Reading Challenge, and met today with some authors of the Authors in Schools program. And they're actually putting famous authors into schools to work the entire day with kids and talking about their books, and everyone from James Patterson to, I mean, all kinds of authors. It's a great, great program. So I'm going to be working with them in the next several months to bring it. It's April of next year, so I'm really looking forward to that. But in the meantime, be prepared to hear about the Mayor's Reading Challenge. Now I'll shut up. Oh, wait, one more. Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles closed its West Palm Beach office on June 26th. They're building a new Central Palm Beach County Service Center in Lake Worth, but it's not us. In Lake Worth. I was like, oh, where is it going to go? Their construction's on schedule, and they'll be opening. They're going to close the current Lake Worth and Lantana offices shortly before the new facility opens. And the new facility is in unincorporated Lake Worth at 4215 South Military Trail. Okay.
I think we should patent it.
But just FYI. All right, moving on up. Public participation.